Kiriko is everyone's favorite girl in the Overwatch community. Let's go over the basics of her entire kit and gameplay so you can also start playing her. Kiriko's passive is wall climb. For up to 1 second, she can climb up walls in a straight line up, hold jump, and walk forward while aiming at the wall. The cooldown on wall climb resets whenever you hit the ground, and if you let go of the wall mid-climb, you cannot start another wall climb until you hit the floor again. Kiriko's primary fire are healing Ofuda. Kiriko sends out her Ofuda in a straight line, stopping until they hit an ally, wall, or an enemy shield. The Ofuda will only heal a single target and only if they hit directly. When looking at an ally, you'll see an indicator for Kiriko's ability 1 Swift Step. If you throw out your Ofuda while that indicator is there, your Ofuda will fly towards your target and even follow them. Kiriko's sub-role is Medic. This gives her the passive ability where she heals herself when healing someone else with Ofuda. If you took any kind of damage, just heal your allies. This will only work if you're actually restoring health. Kiriko's secondary fire is her Kunai. She fires the Kunai into a straight line until it hits an enemy, shield, or wall. You're able to hit headshots as well. It's a projectile, so it takes time to reach its target, and in between reloading time and healing, you can throw 2 Kunai. The Kunai is hard to hit, but has no maximum range either, with a relatively fast reload and generous amount of Kunai before having to reload. Kiriko's ability 1 is Swift Step. She teleports towards an ally, appearing slightly above them while being invulnerable for a short duration. To use Swift Step, aim at your ally, and then only when the indicator is shown, press the ability 1 button. You will then go to that ally. While you're teleporting, you can't take any damage either. Kiriko's ability 2 is Suzu. She throws a protective charm in an arc which explodes in a radius on impact and gives effects to all allies hit. You'll know when someone has been hit if that ally turns white for a second. It has no effects on enemies and passes through them, but can be blocked by shields and other abilities that eat projectiles. The effects of Suzu are a small heal, invulnerability for a short duration. Most negative status effects are cleansed. Kiriko's ultimate ability is Kitsune Rush. Kiriko sends a Kitsune which sprints forwards, summoning gates on the ground which buff allies nearby. The Kitsune falls to the ground if summoned on high ground and stops running if it hits a wall. The following stats are increased for all allies: movement speed, attack speed, reload speed, cooldown recharge rate. The first minor perk is Urgent Care. Your healing Ofuda go faster when they're homing into an ally, and they're critical. You can see when they're critical when they have this big red cross on their body. The second minor perk is Fortune Telling. Whenever you hit a kunai on an enemy, send out healing Ofuda to an ally in front of you. The first major perk is Ready Step. Using Swift Step gives Kiriko extra attack and reload speed for a few seconds. This perk makes Ready Step into a mini Kitsune rush for Kiriko only. Both kunai and healing Ofuda are increased while this perk is active. The second major perk is Foxtrot. Hitting a Suzu on allies gives them increased movement speed for a few seconds. If you liked the video, make sure to subscribe. I'm trying to reach 1000 subscribers. Okay, now that we went over Kiriko's abilities, how should we use them in game? I want to start by saying that Kiriko is a support who does a bit of everything. She has high mobility, has high healing, and doesn't really fit into any particular category, which is why you see a bunch of Kiriko plays, because she can do literally everything that a support should be doing. Damage, healing, high mobility. Now, Kiriko is an excellent healer, and at the end of the match, it's not weird to see Kiriko with the most healing done. Stand behind your team, try to be on cover, and keep an eye out for your other support who is most likely next to you. This is the default position where you throw out your healing Ofuda from. Now, you can easily run around and take whatever position you want using wall climb. As long as you're able to climb up the wall, no high ground is safe from Kiriko. Now, you could turn off the video right now and start healing without using any of the other abilities. This most likely won't win you any games, but you can play her like that. I'm not your mom. Try to throw your kunai too in between your healing or when you have time. The kunai is how you can win games on Kiriko. Without dealing damage yourself, you're not doing the most that Kiriko is able to do. In order to switch between healing and damaging, you can turn off the setting Toggle Healing Ofuda. It introduces a very slight lag when switching between your kunai and healing Ofuda, which is not what we want. Kunais are incredibly difficult to aim, but we can make it slightly easier using a couple of rules. There are generally 2 ways. The first is spamming, and the second is tapping. For spamming, aim at a piece of cover where enemies are, or just when they're all bunched up together, and throw your kunai there. Tanks and their shields are also a valid target. It's very easy to miss every shot without you even knowing it because the kunai have pinpoint accuracy, which can be a curse in itself. If you want to be able to hold your secondary fire while spamming, you will need to develop tracking aim, which is a whole other topic. If you don't have that, you can instead go to the other method of shooting, which is tapping. Instead of holding down your secondary fire to keep throwing kunais, you can click for every individual kunai that you're throwing out. This increases your accuracy since you decide exactly when and where you're throwing a kunai. This is great, as I said, for learning how to spam, or for fighting when someone is close. The trade-off is that the total amount of shots is lower, which means that the potential damage is lower too. But a higher chance of getting hit is really not a bad thing. Another option you have is to just walk closer to someone who you want to shoot. Since the kunai are hard to hit, but the damage is pretty nice, it's not a bad choice. The closer you are, the easier they are to hit. The most common use for Swift Step is to reposition yourself. Kiriko is unique in that she can affect one area of the map, then immediately teleport and do something else in another area. Another use is to go into the offensive. Since Kiriko has a small hitbox, which makes her hard to hit, and decent damage on the kunai, fighting becomes the main way to win more games on her. Walk forward, maybe a bit sideways if you can, and keep teleporting into account. Teleporting is your escape. Without an escape, fighting becomes incredibly difficult since you have to take a lot of risks to fight. What you want to do on the offense is to fight until you're somewhat in danger, then before you'll die, you teleport out. This is the most effective way to influence the game, but also the hardest. Don't be afraid to take 1v1s if someone challenges you, because with enough practice, you can win nearly every fight. A heal combo that you can do is to use Swift Step to a nearby ally, then Suzu on the ground as fast as you arrive. This is a guaranteed way to hit your Suzu and can save lives while keeping yours safe as well, because you're also affected by the invulnerability of Suzu this way. Suzu cleansing negative status effects is probably the biggest and most impactful part of Suzu. You have to know who in Overwatch can give negative status effects, and make sure to keep an eye out for allies who have been affected by them. Invulnerability is the next most important part of a kit. This is the main playmaker to save lives in a clutch. If someone needed just a second longer to get to a safe spot, the invulnerability will come in clutch. The small heal that Suzu gives is nice, but it most likely won't be the reason why you're saving someone. The only reason why you would throw this out for pure healing is to speed up the healing when you have no use for Suzu for the entire following cooldown time. Suzu technically has no maximum range, meaning that it's possible to snipe someone from far away. I don't really recommend it yet because it's difficult to aim and the cooldown is long, but feel free to experiment with the long range Suzu if you want to though. Try to keep Suzu for important moments, as this is your main playmaker. There are a lot of strong abilities which do a lot of burst damage, or apply status effects which control the game. Kiriko's Suzu is a really huge game changer because of it. Her ultimate Kitsune Rush is incredibly strong as it will improve both healing and damage of everyone inside your area. The most obvious choice as to when to use it is when 4 or 5 people of your team are grouped up and you have to take a big fight. Try to make the ultimate as big as possible. The Kitsune runs forward and can reach pretty far. Get a feel of where the outer edge is and draw a rectangle in your head, and that's the entire area which will be affected by your ultimate. The Kitsune can be stopped by walls and also falls down if you send it down a slope or cliff. This means that walls are your biggest enemy for your Kitsune, since the Kitsune just ignores every ability in the game as well, so it can only be stopped by walls. For perks, I prefer the minor perk Fortune Teller and the major perk Ready Step. This is because Fortune Teller encourages you to deal damage, while the major perk Ready Step is done because my assumption is that if you need its guide, you're in a lower rank. And the bonus movement speed that you get from Foxtrot, the other major perk, is wasted in the hands of lower ranked players. You're much better off with the increased stats that Ready Step gives you. But if you can form some kind of reasoning why the other perks are better in a particular game, then definitely go for it. Hope that helped, and thanks for watching.